Have you ever been so mentally exhausted, burnt out, tired of being tired? Everyone says don't quit, but what if quitting is exactly what your soul needs? Welcome back to the channel. And today we are rediscussing why quitting can be the best thing you ever do for your mental health. Let me start with an invitation. This video is for you if you've ever felt stuck in a job that drained your energy, a relationship that didn't fulfill you, or a situation that seemed to have no end. By the end of this video, you will gain clarity and peace about whether it is time to quit and how to do so with intention and grace. Picture yourself in a small boat tossed around in a raging sea. The waves are high, the winds are strong, and you're struggling to stay afloat. You've heard the saying, never give up, and you've tried your best to hold on. But there comes a point when you realize that staying in this storm is slowly chipping away at your very core. What if quitting? What if releasing the rope that's tying you to this storm was the kindest thing you could do for yourself? What if letting go allowed the sun to shine through the clouds again? Welcome to this safe space. We begin our journey with an important acknowledgement. In a society that often glorifies perseverance, we sometimes forget that knowing when to let go is just as crucial. We live in an age of hustle culture and motivational like never give up. But these mantras can become toxic when they rob us of the freedom to choose when enough is enough. There's strength in knowing when to hold on and when to say goodbye. Imagine a runner in a marathon. Finish line is in sight, but the runner's body is screaming for rest, for water, for nourishment. If the runner ignores these signs, they might collapse just before the finish. Similarly, in any endeavor, ignoring our body and minds signals can lead to burnout, resentment, and a loss of passion. So how do we find that balance between tenacity and self-preservation? It's essential to recognize that quitting doesn't equate to failure or weakness. Quite the opposite. It's a testament to your self-awareness, your resilience, and your courage. Quitting allows you to realign your energy, redirect your focus, and invest in endeavors that truly resonate with your evolving purpose. Now let's explore 3 signs that indicate it's time to quit. Number 1, physical and emotional exhaustion. When you're physically exhausted, it's your body's way of signaling that it needs rest and rejuvenation. Chronic fatigue isn't just about feeling tired. It's a sign that your mind and body are craving a break. When you experience persistent anxiety, worry, or dread, especially when you think about the thing you're doing, it's a clear indication that it's no longer serving your highest good. Similarly, emotional exhaustion manifests when you've poured so much of yourself into something that you no longer have the emotional reserves to keep going. Number 2, a loss of joy and purpose. When you started your journey, whether it was a job, a relationship, or a project, you were driven by dreams, hopes, and aspirations. Over time, though, those aspirations may have shifted, changed, or even faded. When you find yourself no longer connecting with the initial purpose or passion that ignited this journey, it's essential to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, does this still align with my values, my goals, and my vision for myself? Losing the joy and sense of purpose can be a subtle yet powerful indicator that it is time to explore new horizons. And number 3, constant self-doubt or an identity crisis. Imagine you're wearing a pair of shoes that are 2 sizes too small. At first, you might try to squeeze your feet into them, hoping they'll eventually fit. But all you end up with are blisters and discomfort. Similarly, when you're constantly battling self-doubt or questioning your identity in relation to the thing you're doing, it's time to loosen those mental constraints. If you're constantly questioning who you are, or if you're re-engaging in behaviors or activities that compromise your values, it's a sign that it might be time to make a change. Think about a job that you've been doing for years. You wake up every morning feeling anxious. You dread going to work. The tasks seem endless and unfulfilling. Every day feels like a drag. You've considered quitting for a while now, but fear keeps you stuck. Fear of losing financial stability, fear of what others will think, fear of starting over. But what if that job is slowly chipping away at your mental health, draining your energy, and extinguishing your passion? When you consider these impacts, the decision to quit becomes clearer. Now let's talk about relationships. Picture a partner who once brought you joy, but now causes you constant stress and unhappiness. You find yourself constantly on edge, walking on eggshells. The love and affection have turned into arguments and resentment. You're so used to the negative energy that it seems like the only constant in your relationship. You might convince yourself that this is normal, that love means enduring hardships. But what if staying in this relationship is detrimental to your mental well-being? What if it's time to prioritize yourself, to rediscover the joy and passion that love should bring? The decision to quit in this scenario might be one of the bravest acts of self-love you'll ever make. What about that project you've been pouring your heart and soul into? It started with such promise, filled with excitement and anticipation. But now the passion has faded, replaced by drudgery and despair. You find yourself constantly struggling to muster the motivation to work on it. You feel trapped, wondering if it's too late to turn things around. But what if it is time to let go? What if it's healthier for your mental health to shift your focus to projects that ignite your passion once again? Here's a personal story that might resonate with you. I remember a time when I was juggling multiple responsibilities, each demanding a significant portion of my already stretched thin energy. I was working tirelessly, but I wasn't thriving. I was merely surviving. I found myself feeling depleted, anxious, and disconnected from the things I once loved. It was during this time that I had to confront a difficult truth. I couldn't keep going at this pace. Something had to change. I knew deep down that I needed to quit certain commitments, but the thought of letting go filled me with guilt and fear. What would others think? Would I disappoint them? Would I be seen as unreliable or irresponsible? These questions echoed in my mind, amplifying my anxiety. But I knew that continuing down this path would only lead to further burnout and resentment. So with a mix of trepidation and determination, I started to scale back. I politely declined additional responsibilities, set healthy boundaries, and made the choice to prioritize my well-being. It was one of the most challenging decisions I've ever made, but also one of the most liberating. As I freed myself from the weight of unnecessary commitments, I regained a sense of control over my life. The anxiety lifted, replaced by a newfound clarity and peace. I was able to focus on the things that truly mattered to me, investing my energy into relationships, hobbies, and projects that brought me joy and fulfillment. Looking back, I realized that quitting those things was the best decision I could have made for my mental health and overall well-being. When you quit something, you're not quitting progress. You're pivoting towards what aligns with your current self. You're allowing space for mental clarity, emotional peace, and new opportunities. Quitting is not the end. It's a redirection, a chance to realign your path with your evolving essence. And here's the crucial part: how to quit with intention and peace. Reflect, plan, communicate, release. Reflect on the journey, acknowledge the emotions and lessons, plan your exit strategy, ensuring a smooth transition if possible. Communicate your decision with clarity and respect. Release any guilt or judgment, embracing forgiveness and moving forward. You might be thinking, but what about the guilt? What about the judgment from others? Listen, when you choose to prioritize your mental health and well-being, there's no room for guilt or shame. It's not selfish, it's self-care. And regarding the judgment of others, remember that true validation comes from within. When you walk away from something that no longer serves you, you'll encounter different kinds of reactions from others. Some might not understand your decision. They might question your motives or try to convince you to stay. It's important to remember that their reactions are more about their own perspectives and fears than about you. Try not to let their opinions overshadow your own inner compass. As you navigate this journey, don't hesitate to seek support. Talk to a therapist like me, journal your thoughts and feelings, or lean on friends and family who uplift and support you. Before we part ways, I want you to know that you are not weak for walking away. You are brave for choosing peace. You're resilient for facing your fears, and you are worthy of love and happiness. Remember that you have the power to shape your future. The decision to quit might be one of the most empowering choices you ever make. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you found this video helpful, please comment below and share your thoughts, experiences, or any insights you'd like to add. Don't forget to share this video with others who might benefit from it. Until next time, take care and remember, you matter.